Hi there, it's April the 25th. We continue our journey through the good news of Luke. We're in chapter 22 and we're going from verses 35 to verse 53. This is us just after the Passover, and Jesus is now saying to his disciples, do you remember how I told you when you went out not to take bags and purses? Things have changed. Now actually you need to hold things, you need to be prepared, you need to look out because evil is coming. In fact, he says you need to buy a sword, which is kind of ambiguous considering what is going to happen. And his disciples say to him, we've got two here. And Jesus actually says, that's plenty. In other words, your swords are not really going to be the thing that is going to make the difference. He says here, in fact, I am going to be fulfilling scripture here. I'm going to be fulfilling prophecy that I'll be counted among the lawless. I will be arrested as a criminal. But he said, this is my telos, he says in Greek. This is my purpose. There's very much the sense here that Jesus is not the victim of circumstances. This is the way that things need to unravel, and Jesus makes it clear that he has a purpose here. And as he goes out, they go out to the Mount of Olives, to the Garden of Gethsemane, the Garden of Gethsemane in Hebrew, which means the oil press, the place where olives are crushed to release the oil. It's there that Jesus prays. And as he prays, he says, Father, if it's possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not what I will, but what you want. And again, we see this intention of Jesus here. He knows that something is unfolding. In one sense, he has a choice here to go on with it or not to go on with it, but he submits himself to the will of the Father. And he comes back, he finds his disciples oblivious to what's going on. Maybe they're heavy with the wine that they've had at Passover. They are heavy with maybe also the sorrow that's on them. Jesus, it says, when he prays, is in an agony. And that word agony doesn't just mean pain, but also means a struggle. There's a struggle going on. It's a word that has to do with wrestling. There's a wrestling going on in Jesus in the garden. But as he's praying and as he finds his disciples sleeping, a crowd arrives. Judas comes to him and kisses him. The kiss was, just as in many Mediterranean cultures, the kiss between friends was a common greeting. And Judas comes and he gives that common greeting, and by that common greeting, that's the sign. The one I kiss will be the one you've to arrest. And he betrays the Son of God with a kiss. And then, because earlier of Jesus talking about having swords and being prepared with swords, one of the disciples pulls out the sword and cuts off the ear of the high priest. But Jesus says, enough of that, stop it. And he heals the high priest. This is incredible. In this moment of terrible suffering, in this moment of disaster, it seems, Jesus is still reaching out in compassion to those who, to all intents and purposes, are his enemies, who are coming to arrest him. But he still reaches out and heals. And he says, why are you coming by night? Why are you coming to arrest me when you could have taken me in the temple? I was with you. He says, I was with you in the temple. Maybe some of those who are in the crowd are those who were asking him questions and who during the daytime had feigned so much honor of him. And now they've come with swords and sticks to arrest him. And Jesus says, this is your time. This is the time of darkness. The time you come is your time. It's the time of darkness. Wherever coercion, wherever violence, wherever oppression, wherever force is used in the name of God or in the name of Jesus, God forbid, but often it is the time of darkness. It is the rule of darkness, and we can reject that. Jesus is one who owns our freedom, who wants us to be free, and this coercion that's put upon him is part of his unfolding struggle against the powers of darkness, as he makes clear here. Let's continue to stand in his light, and let's follow through this amazing story of his self-giving and of our redemption that is unfolding. Have a very good April 25th.